years, and rolling into like not just our 5.56, but our 308 and our 277 Fury minigun application.
That's right.
You have
We didn't even get there. We didn't get there yet. He was telling me, Justin was telling me that we have, they're working on 7.62 by 51 and 6.8 or 277 Fury rounds.
For the M250, and like it's just simple math.
Can we do a future video?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, perfect.
Yeah,
that's what I wanted to hear.
Absolutely.
That's what I needed to hear.
Yeah, no problem. We need to do some ballistic testing too.
Okay.
Because the application of the drone round, even though it's coined drone round, and that's our primary purpose is serving our United States, but the application, we just converted a standard rifle into something so much more is so mind-boggling. The applications are.
Okay, so the little snippet that you just caught was a video by let's see here. What is the name of this thing? Administrative results, I guess. It says this one 5.56 round turns any rifle into a drone killer. Okay, so basically, imagine 5.56 with a rat shot round. I call it rat shot because, like, I got the 22 that's got, well, I've seen 22 rounds. I do not personally have, but I've seen these little 22 rounds. They got these little looks like rat bait, like rat poison. But it's the capsule, instead of like a lead bullet, it's got a little capsule full of beads, and it shoots out a bunch of projectiles like a shotgun. And basically, they've done that for the 5.56. And like the guy was saying, they're exploring, how to do these things. And I'll try to link that in the thing below because it's interesting. I find it to be extremely interesting, actually, and quite the capability. Because if you can do shotgun things, but you don't have to carry a shotgun, you just got a different magazine to have that capability. And then the potential for the thought pattern to affect industry innovation towards how much do I need this other platform versus how much do I need a variety of ammunition for the platform. Does this make sense? Do I need to get all these things together and, piece apart a microwave, try to make it my own, redneck engineered energy weapon that's illegal if I'm outside, but I can do testing inside the barn? I don't know, maybe. Because that's not just drones, that's anything electronic. Okay, so that's, can I focus 3 microwaves that I found at the junkyard with an old satellite dish and just crank the handle this way to twist and crank the handle this way to raise it up and down, dial this subbitch in as a way to fry electronics. Anything electronic is fried. That's a thing. That's a surprisingly, yeah, you can as a law-abiding citizen, follow the right ways to explore the possibilities for, research and development towards your new product that could, be serviced through the military or whatever else like that, and bring these thoughts to the people that have the capabilities of mass production. Like, look at the beginning of the Jeep. Look at the beginning of the Jeep. Now, the design, who came up with the platform was not who did most of the manufacturing. They actually ended up making, like, the trailer. Whereas Willis and somebody else actually did the production. because the large scale capabilities. You know what I mean? So you got to have the heart of ask not what you can do for ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. And then the principle I have found is if you don't care who gets the credit, you can accomplish anything. And then through the power of Christ, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me, backed up with humility and meekness, which makes me inherit the earth so I can take it over for Jesus. You know what I mean? We're like the hearts and minds of all humans are righteously following the commands. Like, for about 1,000 years, get tested, and then let's go do this deal, and whatever. So, the guy's got to have a hobby, right? So, in the immediate, you know what I mean? Let's look at our platform that we have and the platform that we want. So, what do we want? Do we want to be able to, 5.56 rat shot this drone out of the sky? Yeah. Does that sound like expensive ammunition? Yeah, actually it does. And then, what other platforms can project force on target that is possible to encapsulate inside a cartridge that you can manufacture and deliver to the United States military? Whatever that is. This needs to be a crowdsourced brainstorming event. And I think that the armchair quarterbacks can chime in on this deal and come up with these thoughts, and then people that make things happen can make those things happen. But it's the thoughts that haven't been thought of yet. Because somebody's gonna, okay? And that's where we shine, and the enemy does not. Because the enemy's not a creator. He is created. Okay, so we're gonna have some sabotage, some cabotage, some IP thefts, and these other potential the enemy's going to figure this out. They're going to try to counteract, they're going to try to copy and stuff like that too. So put this forth to your viewership via your platform, whoever YouTubers may be, you law-abiding citizens out there. They say this is a quest this is a request for dominate the military space, like develop these things to assist the United States military in dominating any situation they find themselves in, so our kids who are the soldiers don't die. Seems reasonable. Seems like a good way to articulate, hey, in a perfect world, what capability would you encapsulate in this 5.56 to put force on target downrange? What does that look like? What does that look like? How can
GPS signal lost.
And in the process of doing that, how would the enemy counteract that? You know what I mean? Because if we're fielding the right armor to defeat the new round, when everybody figures out the new round and they're trying to figure out a get around, we've already got the get around. Okay? So take that, push it out to the people, crowdsource this deal, and then challenge them to a 5-step. What's your next 5 moves? You know what I mean? Here's, a 5.56 round that's shooting like a shotgun, putting 9 to 15 projectiles onto the target. Of course, the drone's wings are not that sturdy. Doesn't take a whole lot to get it out of the air. We're not going to, even if that's a thing that's widely available, we're not going to sleep on the directed microwave oven apparatus. And what does that look like? And how do we shield from that? You know, what is this tinfoil hat you speak of for our whatever situation? You know what I mean? Like how are we going to counteract? The guy pulls up to the sidewalk and, you know, jams communications, puts a microwave over amping to melt the electronics inside our whatever camera system, ring camera, whatever type of deal. So now, yeah, like we can't call out, the camera's not recording, all this type of situation. What now? You know what I mean? And all this stuff points out the overwhelming and obvious need to be able and fully competent in a little house on the prairie setting. So there's no need and there's no viable necessary technology that we would be deprived of to carry out whatever we need to do. You know what I mean? So like, you know, we need Captain Caveman Division of the United States military that's prepared to go just, you know, club and dagger. You know what I mean? Like, all our electronics has failed. We are on the battlefield. Are we just going to, like, you know, fix bayonets and go at it? Like, what does that look like type of deal? You know what I mean? And then if we are on the homeland and the homeland's under attack, you know, how do we leverage our women and children to, you know, pour the scalding hot water over the wall to thwart the enemy's attempt to scale the wall with their siege weapons? You know what I mean? Is there even a wall? You know what I mean? So then you get into your, how did you design your homestead to make it irritating for a bystander to come along? You know what I mean? Like, it's all it's got to be, just irritating. You know, somebody don't know nothing, we're just lost. They took a wrong turn with their GPS, now they're coming onto your property. How do you make that super annoying? Super duper annoying. Like, you're tired of it. You know what I mean? Like, here's a problem, there's a problem. You know, they stayed on the path and now they're stuck in the mud because the path ain't the path. Everybody that knows goes around the soft and soggy to whatever degree. You know, what does that look like? What does that look like? How do we do that? How do we place that train of thought into the people in a way that is mainstream? You know what I mean? Because the execution's everything. You know what I mean? But what needs to be executed is the crowdsource thinking, like the mind, the hive mind of what would you do? You know what I mean? Because I'll be honest with you, I see that the first time I ever seen the drone, I was like duck hunting. You know what I mean? Like, in the story, you know. But now we got a round that you can duck hunt, but you don't have to carry the shotgun platform with you. So that's beautiful. And with that, I will stop talking. Rock Hill, go get them.